So last night I finally got around to seeing M3GAN, or M3GAN, or M3GAN, as the premiere was here last night in Sydney. With that being said, a massive thank you to Universal Pictures Australia for the invite to the premiere. Now, I wouldn't say there are massive spoilers in this video, but just in case, light spoiler warning. And also, shout out to Jason Blum for going all out and dressing up as M3GAN at the LA premiere. The guy's just a weapon. Gorgeous. So first and foremost, this isn't your typical horror film Ghouls and Ghoul. Yes, it is from Blumhouse, it is from James Wan, but the film borders on thriller, sci-fi, and even comic book at times. Yes, a comic book movie. And I never thought I'd say that about a Blumhouse production. So the original cut of M3GAN was supposedly more graphic, but after a few reshoots and a new cut of the film, it secured a PG-13 rating in the States, which equates to an M15 plus rating here in Australia. And I can honestly say, even though this is a much more toned down horror film, I love pretty much every minute of it, and it is definitely a breath of fresh air in terms of a horror film, if you could call it that. The film features characters that you actually give a shit about and that aren't meat sacks waiting for their turn to be killed. So the basic premise of the film, it revolves around a young woman named Gemma, played by Alison Williams, who after a tragic event comes into care of her niece Katie, played by Violet McGraw. Gemma is a robotics engineer at a toy company, and at the beginning of the film we see a commercial for that particular company that is a total piss take of state-of-the-art toys now and toys of old, much like Baby Born and Furby. Whilst Katie is grieving, Gemma decides to finish up a prototype android that she had put aside a while ago, and as almost a companion for Katie. And of course that robotic doll is M3GAN, or M3GAN, or M3GAN, which stands for Model 3 Generative Android. Try saying that 20 times. After completing the doll, Gemma asks Katie to partake in a demonstration for David, Gemma's boss, during which she meets and is formally paired up with M3GAN. Their interactions convince David that the doll would make a valuable investment and skyrocket the company to success. Now, while Katie and M3GAN are getting to know each other, Gemma notices changes in M3GAN, changes that an AI doll should not be experiencing, like disobeying commands, and M3GAN begins to operate more independently. With M3GAN's primary goal being to protect Katie, both emotionally and physically, she begins to target anything that she deems a threat towards Katie, even if that means taking a life. This film is definitely a slow burn to begin with, but I actually think it worked for me as I was invested in Gemma and Katie's relationship, or lack thereof, and I wanted to see something come of that and blossom, I guess you could say. And once M3GAN starts thinking for herself and starts picking off her victims, the film definitely then gains its steam. The gore in this film is extremely subtle. Like I said, the film was recut and had certain scenes reshot to tone down the violence, and I actually think it works. In a way, you almost root for M3GAN as she's trying to do what she thinks is good for Katie. The look and design of M3GAN is a blend of cute but also horrifying, and that's thanks in part to the crew of Weta Workshop who designed and fabricated the practical dolls, but most of the time it was New Zealand actress and dancer Amy Donald wearing a prosthetic silicone mask during the film. I think this is where the filmmakers really captured a realistic look to her, as in the early Child's Play films, for the most part, it was a puppet, with some shots of a smaller actor being inserted in, and also at a couple of points, Alec Vincent's little sister. And you can tell, and sometimes it can really take you out of the film. Whereas here, the shots of the doll are usually used for stunts or shots of M3GAN standing still, so just a static shot. So from the get-go, your brain adapts to her moving like a hybrid human/robot. M3GAN herself is voiced by Jenna Davis, who ranges from calm, caring, nurturing, and then to just plain unhinged by the end of the film. If I had any gripes with the film, I think that some story beats are very close to the concept of the 2019 Child's Play remake, where you have an AI doll that bonds to a child, protects them no matter what. But that's more my problem. But overall, I feel M3GAN executes the concept a lot more efficiently and organically in terms of pacing with the film. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said this film borders on almost like a comic book film, and this is due to the end climax where we see Gemma and Katie go up against M3GAN with the help of one of Gemma's previous creations. And it's cheesy, but at the same time, the film has so many campy elements that I was totally okay with it. And that's why I definitely want to see more of M3GAN. I really enjoyed the hour 40 runtime, and yes, it's a bit of a slow burn, but ultimately your patience will pay off, as this is definitely a breath of fresh air from Blumhouse. And a sequel has supposedly been greenlit, and I really do hope we get to see some sort of trilogy from this. I love the satire, I love the big piss take on the corporate world of kids toy companies where it's supposed to be about the kids, but ultimately it's just about money and profit margins. Jared Johnston has done a wonderful job capturing a quirky, campy, scary film that proves that not all horror movies have to be a bloodbath to be scary. It can also be 100 pounds of silicon and titanium. Paired with solid performances from its adult and child actors, this film has done something quite unique that definitely goes against the grain of what a traditional horror film should be. So with that, I'm going to be giving M3GAN 4 geeks out of 5. Again, I'd love to see more of this. I'd love to see a trilogy, but as long as they stick to that basic formula from this film, carry that on for, say, a second and third film, I think they're onto a winning franchise here. Ghouls and Ghoulettes, with that being said, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts once you've seen M3GAN. Did it live up to the expectations? Did you like what they did in terms of toning down the violence? Or you just weren't feeling it at all? Guys, wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you're well. Hope you're happy. Be merry, be silly. And until next time, Ghouls and Ghoulettes, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.